All right, give me a second here. Let this all sync up and stuff. Think we're good. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about a uh, important but sometimes overlooked module in the ArcGIS API for JavaScript, and that is the collection. Right. So the documentation for collection can be found on the SDK for the ArcGIS API for JavaScript. Basically, a collection behaves just like an array. If you use push, you can use filter, find, it's got reduce, map, all the good stuff you'd find on an array with a little bit of sugar on it, right? So you go through all the methods on here. Typically, we're going to use things like add and add many just because it kind of, from an API perspective, makes sense. But you could also go ahead and use push if you want to use push. But like I said, you're dealing with a lot of times you get an array of things, like an array of graphics, and you want to just add them all to the map. Just use add many. It's a very straightforward way to do it. But if you read the documentation here, it is pretty much an array with a little bit of a sugar on top, right? Because there are events it goes to, and this is like the main thing you would use when you're working with collections. And there's another cool piece in here, which I'll probably show you the demo for it, so I don't have to go through and do it for you, because the demo is pretty, I think, self-explanatory. I think there's a demo for it. We'll find it in a second. But let's talk a bit about events, right? So you have a after add, after changes, after remove, before add, before changes, before remove. So like there's a whole lot of different things you can do when you listen for the events on a collection, if you want to grab a bit more info, right? So if you want to know immediately after something's been added and log it somewhere, you can do that. The before add is a little bit of sugar you can do. So if you're going to be adding a graphic to the array, maybe the graphic is coming from some other function somewhere in your app, or some other uh, component type of thing is adding graphics into your application. You can use this before add to maybe validate the graphic, right? Maybe you don't want graphics to get added that are outside of a certain area or something like that. I think you can get away with doing that. I don't know. Before I shoot off my big mouth and say that you can do that, maybe not. But yeah, this event can be used to prevent items from being added to collection. There you go. See, I was right. I'm not stupid after all. So yeah, you can pretty much go through here, and if the item or the graphic being added is not within a certain polygon, right, you don't add it to the array. So you got some kind of like validation you can do with these events. So let's just play around with some of these. The basic change is going to catch like everything. So it catch added, reordered, removed, things like that. So you may not even know it, but you're dealing with collection pretty much all the time. View.graphics is a collection of on the view. It's a very useful kind of shortcut to a graphics layer, right? We sometimes you'll hear us say that View.graphics is a graphics layer, blah blah blah. It's really a collection of graphics you can reference when you want to do stuff. So let's just say, for example, that yeah, let me get rid of this here. It's just kind of some like default code I usually keep in my apps, so I don't get that complaint about unused stuff. All right, my linting's complaining. So view.on, click, and it's going to give me it's actually give me an event with a map point on it. And all I'm going to do is very naively, I'm going to create a graphic. Now let autocasting do stuff for me because I'm very lazy, right? And that's what autocasting is for, is lazy developers. I'm kidding. I am just lazy, and I'm just going to do this so I don't have to go through and instantiate a new graphic and whatnot. So now I'm going to say view dot graphics dot add graphic. There's a default symbol, I believe, that it will do for me. So where's my app? Okay, so here's my app. If I just click in the ocean, yeah, there we go. It's just a black dot. All right, so boom, 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 boom. Okay, so there's my very naive adding graphics to a map. I could have made this very short, how to add graphics to a map video. But maybe we want to do something with this here. Not do something, we want to watch, right? So view dot graphics dot on. I hope this works. I probably should check this stuff out before I start talking smack, right? So it's a type of Esri collection change event that should have something in it. So let's just call this result, and let's console.log that result. Give ourselves a little bit more room here, just so you can see what's happening. Let's come over here. Let's open up the dev tools. Bam. So there we go. So the event is going to return back an object with an array of things that were, let's see, so added. I would have expected something to get added in here. It looks like it didn't do it. Or maybe sometimes the watching stuff here. See, yeah, there is an added one. I don't know what's not showing up here. There's some weird stuff you'll find sometimes when you're debugging that looks like that, but maybe if I do this. And I'll show you another thing you can do, because let's do this. I think they're just regular arrays. We'll find out. Hold on here. Okay, so there's my element. I don't know why it's gone. The change event disappears. Now you have to clone it. So we'll do this. We'll grab the first one and we'll load it. That might be what I need to do, so that I keep a reference to it in here. Bam, so there it is. There's a graphic I just added. That's the geometry. In there, it tells me what layer it belongs to, which is going to be the default graphics layer. I don't even know if it has a title. I don't think it does, because it doesn't show up in the legend. So there should be no title to it or anything. But this is just the default graphics layer that's part of the map view. And the scene view has one as well, and so on and so forth. There's no pop-up template defined for it, nothing like that. So, okay, so that's how you can watch for when things are changed. So maybe, now what I want to do is I want to listen for what are my other options over here, people, before add, right? So before add, and I don't remember. So let's see, what is before add going to give me? All right, so it returns back an item. So the item to add to the collection. So let's get rid of this. And so if I'm reading this right, then the properties on this result should have something like result dot item. Right? Am I reading that right? We'll find out. Yeah, so there's a graphic. So now at this point, I could do something with Geometry Engine, maybe. Maybe attributes. I don't know. I guess you could validate attributes too if you don't want to add it. Typically, I would think you want to validate geometry in some way. So maybe I want to do something, and I want to say that if result.item.geometry.type is not equal to polygon, then what was it? I guess I should call this event. I keep calling it result, but it's not. It's an event. I can't remember how in Vim. I always forget to how to do this quick changes, renames. I do have a shortcut for it, but I forgot it. Okay, so event dot prevent default. And I guess if it's not I don't have to do anything else in that case. So yeah, they didn't get added, right? So prevent default prevents it from being added into my application because I'm only allowing polygons for whatever reason, right? And again, if it's not, let's just say I want to keep it as point. There we go. Now it should let me go ahead and add it because, of course, I'm just clicking and it should be point, right? So that's how the before add would work, and all the other events could be pretty similar. After remove, well, I guess after add would be, after it's been added, maybe I want it for some reason. I don't know what I would do with it after add. It's already there. But I guess that's if I just want to keep track of how many things being added to it, right? Maybe I want to put these into some kind of a state of some sort, and I can do it under my own little undo redo logic inside of my application. But one thing that you should note, okay, so let's do this. So let's just go ahead and let's remove that console log. We'll leave this logic in here for now just because I want to show something. So what happens if I console.log view.graphics? What's it gonna look like? All right, so come over here. Right, so it's not really an array. I kind of, maybe you want to treat the second array, but it's not. It's got these properties, it's got items, which you can access to do stuff if you need to, but the proper way, okay, the proper way, be all prim and proper, people, so this is what you should do, is to convert this to an array. Now, maybe you're using a collection in the API because you want to take advantage of all of this events and checking for stuff. Maybe it's not for graphics. Maybe you're doing it for some other objects in your application. But then you want to pass this collection to maybe another third-party API like D3 or some charting library or something like that that expects just regular arrays. It doesn't know what to do with collection. It's going to freak out when it, there might be stuff that it tries to do. It's not going to work, right? So we convert it to a native array. So now when I do this, it's just a plain old array. Right? And now I could take that array and do something with it anywhere across the board. Like I said, third-party APIs and things like that. Okay. I think that's plenty on just like an intro to collection and things you can do with it with events, watching events, converting them to regular arrays. There is one thing I did want to show though. And I believe we have samples. I could have sworn we had a sample. Let me see. If I don't find a sample on it, I will show you real quick how to do it. Tagged collection. So, okay. So maybe not. Maybe we don't have a sample in this. Okay. So let's do this. Okay. So we're talking about graphics, for example. So let me go over here. Let me import my collection from ArcGIS core collection, and let me import graphic. Now, normally I don't do this with graphic because we've already got graphics layers for stuff like this. I would probably do this for web maps or maybe some other kind of objects I would deal with in the API, but I don't have. Well, you know what? I'm lying here. Let's hold on. Let's see here. I think I might know where there's a sample. Web map, tagged web map. All right. Hold on. So many damn things in here. Oh no, ooh. Swap web maps in the same view. Nah, that wasn't it, was it? Maybe. Yes, I think this might be it. Let's explore this in the sandbox. Let's check this out. Let me see. Nah, that's not it. But I've got some let's see here. Ooh, yeah, okay. So I'm gonna grab these web map IDs. Okay. Let's do this. Okay, so here, so I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna do graphic. I'm gonna go ahead and do a web map. So it's import web map from ArcGIS core web map. Bam. Okay, let's get away from here. Don't need that right now. Uh, oops. Okay, so I just need to format that a little bit. Okay, so here's my web map IDs. I'm now going to create a new collection. Well, a collection type, right? So if we go over here, let's come back to reference, collection, and let's come down to, was it methods here? Oh, here we go. Of type. It's a static method on the collection, right? So I'm going to say web map collection is going to be equal to collection of type web map. All right, got that? Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is just come down over here somewhere and collection stuff. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to create a collection of my maps. So let's go and create some a new array called items. That item is going to be equal to the web map IDs dot map, and we're just going to convert these into objects. All right, and those objects will have a portal item and then the ID. So now I have an array of objects with the portal item. Oh, no, wait, not like that. And this needs to have, ooh, let's do this. ID, like that. That's easier. That's cleaner, right? Okay, so portal item with a property called ID, right? This is how you create web maps, right? Create a new web map from, and you pass it an object with a portal item. That portal item has a property called ID. Now, what I can do is I can go and say that my, as I say, const collection is equal to a new web map collection. You guys see where I'm going here? Now I'm going to go ahead and say that let's do add many. Collection.add many. And we're going to add it's collection. No, not collection. Items. I'm sorry, it's a tired, man. Tired. Okay, so now what I want to do is we are going to do a collection.forEach. And we're going to say that x and console.log x. Okay. All right. This should work. And what do we have here? So here's our items, our collection. Our object with a portal item ID that we passed to the web map collection now has a collection of web maps, right? I can now have an application where all these web maps are available for me to use in my application. Now they're not loaded, so it's not like I loaded the web maps, all the data is downloaded, and I made my application a very chatty application. No, I've just instantiated the web maps. They're ready to go. I can pass them to a view somewhere, and the view will take care of loading everything for me. Just my collection took care of that. That's where this of type comes in very handy from. And like it has an example here doing it for points, right? You have a new point collection. You just pass something that you would pass to a constructor for a point, and it'll instantiate a collection of points for you. We did the same thing with web maps here, right? So I think that's pretty cool. It's a nice feature you can use collections for in your own applications, and take advantage of it. It's something. It's a neat feature you can use, and I want to talk about it because every now and then I talk about parts of the API, and I just kind of gloss over these collections. I gloss over view.graphics, and maybe I mentioned that there's events, and I just wanted to show how that works. This is how the view.graphics essentially works, although I think there's a graphics layer under the hood associated with it, so don't take my word for it. But the same idea applies here, right? It's a collection of some class that you can instantiate that the collection will take care of for you. So that's it. I just want to cover that today. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. If you've got any questions or something that you want me to cover in the future, please just drop in the comments here. Hit me up on Twitter. That's the easiest place to find me. Let me know, and I'll go ahead and talk about that.